Good evening, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. We're glad to know that you've honored our invitation once again on this other edition of Prime Hour, live on My Media Prime Television. And tonight, we are going to be discussing on a number of issues. And of course, it's not a usual formula of the program. We are going to be doing a one-on-one on today's edition of the program, where we are receiving a young and a vital politician who is no other than Denis or Njang Denis Tabe, who is the national chairman of the Popular Action political party. He is with me in the studio tonight to talk on a number of issues facing the political life of Cameroon. And of course, we know you guys are watching from all over the country and all over the world, and he is here to tell you what his political party is planning to do come 2025. We shall also talk about the recurrent military coup in Africa, not leaving out the Fecafoot saga and many other interesting current issues in the country. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the program.
Well, good evening, Mr. Lashak. Good evening to millions of viewers of My Media Prime Television, to the Popular Action partners and sympathizers who are all over the world, Cameroon, everywhere watching us. It's my pleasure to be here. I really want to use this opportunity to express my gratitude for this media house for their wonderful support and encouragement that they have been giving to make sure that those who feel that they could view concerning the socio-political evolution of the country are always giving that platform. And I think PAP is not excluded from that opportunity. So I want to use this medium and the forum that I am here today to really express my gratitude for that, and especially with the encouragement that you have been giving for the Popular Action Party. So it's my pleasure being here. It's our house. I always have my communicators always come around and so on. I think today I decided, no, it is not the first time I'm always here. It's another opportunity to be here once more, at least to continue with what we have been doing and let Cameroonians know how powerful the popularity is becoming, and it's a platform where everyone is given an opportunity to express his or herself as for changing the life of the country and the nation is concerned. So
Monday this morning, and there's this saying, or what many people say in Cameroon, that when Yaoundé is breathing, other parts of the country is equally doing well. How is Yaoundé when you left Yaoundé?
Well, I don't want to go into that phrase or that statement. It was made by someone with an egoistic tendency. I don't want to paraphrase that word. That when Yaoundé is breathing and the country is breathing fine. On the contrary, when Yaoundé is breathing, the other areas are rather burning. Yes, it is. That's why the other areas of the countries are suffering. So if I am here today in Douala to speak and express my wish, is because I am not comfortable that Yaoundé should be fine and other areas of the country are going down the drain in terms of other has to do with human investment and our day-to-day activity. It is not a statement to be used because Cameroon is areas that constitute this country. So when people limit their activities in a particular area and think that everything is okay, I think we feel that such a statement used by an individual for selfish reasons should totally not be accepted by the Cameroonian community. I believe I want to hear that when Kwakwa is booming, when Munyenge, where Kondo Titi, all those areas, when they are booming, rather, that is where Yaoundé needs to be satisfied. Not when you are booming and then the other areas feel that they have to, they feel that everywhere is okay.
Yes, we are barely 1 week into school resumption or the 2023 academic year, and reports coming in from various parts of the country, especially the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, indicates that there not been effective schooling in the northwest and southwest regions. So the lockdown imposed by supposed separatist fighters.
Well, it is a phenomenon that existing since the inception of the Anglophone. The educational sector has always been a target by the separatist fighters. Maybe they have a reason that they decided to target the educational sector. I'm an educationist. I have my own conviction that education should never be used as a weapon or as a fact to believe that they would also need people of various sectors, expertise to run their country. I mean, I'm talking within their context of placing. So I don't think using education. But another point, when I listen to what their own revendication, they claim that the education that their own people are receiving is an education that does not make any sense and so forth. I think education is a universal stuff. We shouldn't use our own approach to temper with an education, irrespective of the type of education that you receive. To me, I am not in that position of using the school. Well, they could use any other factor. They have been fighting. Yeah, they have their own, maybe they have their own legitimate reasons why they feel that the government of Cameroon. But to me, I'm not, as an academician, as educationist, I am not really in favor of the fact that education should be sacrificed, because when you look at it, say 2 weeks and so on, it's affecting. I mean, I want to give a little example. This is what occurred in South Africa. Today, the South Africans are having that. You see a lot of xenophobic occurrences in South Africa, because during the period of apartheid, the education was tempered. Yeah, so when they got then they won their cause in imposing the black leadership in South Africa, and they had a lot of opportunity. They had a lot of difficulty to integrate in some sectors, because as a result of that, they gave in for foreigners to come in and occupy almost everything. And at a particular moment, they themselves now started revendicating that why is it that foreigners have occupied everywhere and so forth. And because of what, during that period of the apartheid, education was touched. And he gave, even in Afghanistan, even in Syria, presently even in Ukraine, there's a war there, but we don't hear of schools being affected in any way. Of course, we need education, because no matter the reason for your revendication, you will need educated people to carry on with your activity. So I want to plead with our brothers who maybe they might have a legitimate revendication, but please, they should not really touch even though they say they give room for community schools, they have said they give room for community schools, they give room for private education, their target is the government schools and so forth. I don't think those government schools are being built and they are training the people who work only in the government. There are people, the government schools are there. In fact, what do we call community schools? Community schools are called government schools, because the community where you are is still linked with the leadership of that area, and the government is you and I. Maybe the executive arm of the government, they could be angry with the leadership, but the government still remains the government. The government is the people. It's the people that governs. The people that give legitimacy to whoever that governs them. So I pray that I am not in any way questioning those who feel that they have their revendication concerning the government, but please, our education should be sacred. They should allow children go to school. They can impose their lockdown. They can do whatever. They can decide to stop whatever sector. But please, the education, health sector should be an area of no-go zone. Whatever your revendication is.
Yes, President, let me call you that. We are talking about education here. Wars have rules. Wars have rules. The Geneva Convention is clear on how people should go about fighting the wars. When you look at what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions, these people, the warring factions, they carry out their activities with impunity without taking into consideration the vulnerable. We are talking about unarmed civilians. We are talking about schools. We are talking about hospitals. If you have to look at the situational reports of the Northwest and Southwest regions, 2 weeks before back to school, you discover that in Bello, 2 head teachers were taken, killed by suspected Ambazuna fighters. Back in Way in Menchum Division, 5 civilians taken away, kidnapped. Up to now, their whereabouts is unknown. We go back to Muyuka.
Recently, even yesterday
or today, mother shot and killed. Today in Buya, in Munya and other parts of the Southwest region, there were gunshots that finally led to the death of some civilians in that part of the country. Why are these guns still smoking?
That is a very good question, and I have been asking such a question always regularly because I want to have a notion. That's my own thought. I want to have a notion that there is some there's a fishy act going on as a result of this crisis. Because for now, I don't want to point fingers at whosoever is responsible for what. We of the Popular Action Party, we have always requested for an independent investigative committee to carry out a proper investigation. Because when there is war, most of the times, your opponent might carry out an act that will implicate the other person in order to let the public see you as the evil one. So at this juncture, I won't say all the killings, kidnappings, whatever killing of health personnel is attributed to a particular group A or group B, because I looked the way when you said supposed separatist fighters. Good, except maybe when some of them, when they come up and claim the responsibility, that one I have the authority to say, good, I have this reason because you people claim this responsibility. And most at times, once I realize that a particular group is claiming a responsibility, especially separatists, I condemn such because, one, there is no way I have ever encouraged violence in our party. We don't encourage violence. We don't encourage killing. We don't encourage taking people for ransom. We don't encourage stopping children from going to school. We don't encourage molesting innocent civilians. No, we don't encourage that. But at this juncture, who is behind what? You just made a statement of guns being smuggled, because it came a time where, like what happened today in Munya, I was like, what is happening? Because Munya is in the heart of I know Munya is the heart of Boya. And we know that Munya, there's always patrol, a military patrol there. When people will come and carry out an act for a particular period until they had to burn a taxi. In fact, the images are horrible. Only for the military to come later on and start maybe harassing people. I want to believe that there is something fishy going on. Who is behind what? For now, I want to reserve any statement of whether the separatists are carrying out what, or the military, or the... So for now, it is a food for thought, and that is why those of us of the Popular Action Party, we have ever condemned the military option as a means of resolving this crisis, because I can bet you categorically that both the military and the separatist fighters are feeding fat from this crisis. Yes, I know of some areas where the military have a checkpoint, and when you from a few meters or kilometers from the military checkpoint, we have the separatist fighters controlling. Most of the time, the military are the ones telling you people that as you are going down like that, you will see your people there. So there is a place like Batibo, you find the separatist guys who penetrate right in Bamenda, carry out an act with all the military checkpoints and go untouched. Nobody would, and then you
asymmetry.
No, it's
how do you identify the enemies? How will you know that this is the enemy?
No, I think the government of Cameroon.
There can be an ambassy.
Yeah, no. I think the government of Cameroon, from every indication, they have a lot. To me, this is the military in Cameroon. The Cameroon military is one of I can say one of the best in terms of intelligence in Africa. One of the best. I'm not saying one of the best in terms of military intelligence. And you think if the government wants to really locate where they don't know where they can locate the Amber camps, they don't know where they are. The Amber guys are still controlling the terrain within the peripheries, the local zones. You go there, they are the ones dictating. So I want to believe that, please, calling on whosoever is concerned, that we are all Cameroonians. Individuals should not use the blood of innocent Cameroonians to cut across their selfish ambition. Be it whatever, I don't care. If you are an Amber military or an Amber leader somewhere, or you are of the military, or you are a leader somewhere who controls the military, all those fishy games between the complicity between military and Amber should come to an end, because the innocent people are the ones suffering. When Amber declared a block, the road block from Bamenda to Ndop, the military vehicles were passing. Why did Amber not talk? What was the purpose of blocking the road for close to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and the military vehicles were going and so on? And again, what I got was that it gave an opportunity for military trucks to be transporting goods and supplying the goods to the local vendors, and as a result, a good that worth 500 becomes 1,000. So you see, that it's a whole chain of business. And the Amber, you are blocking the road, and you are blocking the road for your opponent not to pass across that road. But on the contrary, is the opponent that comes, supplies whatever, does business. So there's a game somewhere. There's a game somewhere. And I am still of the opinion that, please, we are all Cameroonians. There is nothing like, I think our problem is the bad leadership of President Paul Biya. Biya's leadership is the problem that we have now in terms of resolving this crisis. We should not be killing each other, seeing each other. I don't want that Amber or separatist guys should see the military as an enemy, and our military should see the Amber as an enemy. We should see ourselves as Cameroonian and work hand in glove to make sure that we kick aside this bad governance.
When you say you blame the government, what they are saying, you are only blaming the government. I want to ask you this question.
I have not blamed the government. I have indicted even the separatist guys.
When somebody dies and is supposed to be buried in one of the villages in the northwest or southwest, they are asking you to pay ransom. Is it the government advising the Ambers to do what they are doing? Their own very people, you kidnap them for ransom.
Yes.
Is it the government?
Well, it is one and the same thing that I'm trying to say here. When people pay money for their people to be buried, I don't want to be diving on an issue which has to do with the consequences. Those are called consequences of a war. When you say, why I'm blaming the government, yes, the government has at least 80% of the blame, because a government, the role of the government anticipates. A government does not precipitate. A government anticipates a problem. If all what you are talking of ransom today, ransom taking, kidnapping, schools not ongoing, hospitals and all the like, those are all consequences of a war. When you declare a war, that you are declaring a war against people, be ready for such consequences. Today we are facing the consequences of a war. If today I, a leader of a political party, I should be giving solutions to how to resolve it and stop condemning. Because if I keep on condemning an act, it won't stop anything. We have been condemning for years. Today what happened in Munya, nobody could believe that those guys will still penetrate in the interior of Munya, carry some acts that have been perpetrated in Munya. Even though for now, we don't know those who are responsible for the burning of the vehicles and those individuals that were born in that car. We don't know who is responsible for that, because everything is in a cacophony. So you don't expect me to attack people who have little or no, they don't control any institution, they don't have any international influence, they don't have any legitimate leadership, they don't have institutions that affect the day-to-day life of the people. I cannot keep on blaming them because they have no will. Amber have no. They don't have what it takes to end the crisis. It's the government that has all the mechanisms, both national and international, to end this crisis, of which we have given solution. Okay, if we condemn today, Okay, I condemn Amber. Amber has burned down vehicles. Oh, they have burned down people. Tomorrow it still happen. I still condemn. Tomorrow it still happen. How many years today that we have been condemning? Or I condemn military. Oh, military are carried out. Or I condemn Amber. Oh, they say politicians. We are not supporting. We are the way we speak. We are supporting the separatists. That is not what I'm here. I am here for a solution because innocent citizens are dying. I will never pray that military should die. No, I pray that a separatist, because they are all Cameroonians because of what? Bad leadership. If the will of the government was there under the present president, we would have been into the situation that we are today. From the onset of this crisis, because now there was an Anglophone problem. Now it has become an Ambazonian problem. It's an Ambazonian problem.
So
the government now is faced now with two.
Now you are only talking about solution. Now there are.
If the government genuinely solve the Anglophone problem, it will automatically quail down the Ambazonian problem. The Amba boys are our brothers. They are not people that come from the sky.
What will you do?
They are our brothers. They are
the guns that are everywhere.
Good. Look. There is what we call the force of dialogue. Take an example of what happened in Ethiopia. The same option that the Prime Minister of Ethiopia attempted to use to resolve the Tigray, I think there's a group they call Tigray that wanted to clamor for their own territory, and he attempted it first, but he saw the consequences. Not so long, he himself adopted the dialogue policy and said, please, let's come and talk. There is no need for war. Because at the end of the day, nobody will become the victor or the vanquished. So why we are saying that the government from the onset, everybody you say we made errors. We said from the onset, please, Mr. Lasha, just let me explain to Cameroonians something. In 1972, when the Federal Republic was abolished by President Aiju, by then President Paul Biya was already at the Secretary General of the Presidency, meaning that he was the one even who masterminded everything. Many Anglophones were not of the opinion that the federal structure should be abolished, but they still accepted that at least there was what called United or Unity State came in. In 1984, President Paul Biya became the leader, and unilaterally he took over power in 1982 and 1984. He unilaterally abolished the abolished the unity state and gave its name the Republic of Cameroon. Mr. Lasha, I am not castigating anybody for being a separatist here or a secessionist. But from the act of the President Biden, he demonstrated to the Anglophones that he has taken a secessionist stand. Because if you are united and you decided to carry out a name that is your own, where do you put the other partner? Is that not a secessionist stand? But I'm not there. Now, the Anglophones did not say they were leaving. They said, okay, see, resolve this issue. And it gave birth to so many all Anglophone, AAC1, AAC2, SDF came in. Many Anglophones saw the SDF as an opportunity. Meaning that the Anglophones have given an olive branch to the present regime. The regime has been rejecting. Okay, now, because of the Anglophone problem, in 1996, that was where a new constitution was. The new constitution was drawn in 1996 to resolve this Anglophone problem. And that what gave birth to what we call special status. Cameroonians should know that special status was not initiated in the national dialogue. It was already enshrined in the 1996 constitution, of which President Paul Biya really had the interest to resolve the Anglophone problem. At least he would have implemented a special status that is a semi-manner of an autonomy. It gives a legal autonomy. But what happened? Since 1996, it needed another bloodshed in 2016, 17, 18, before 19, and maybe it's calling it a national law in 2020. Another bloodshed, of which the manner in which the special status was even implemented in the form of a dialogue became more of a monologue. So you see that the will is not there. I am not there to be looking at the impact of a situation. I'm here to look at the cause, because if you don't identify the cause and you keep on looking at the impact, you will not find a lasting solution to the problem. When the Seseko and the others were arrested, they came to Yaoundé. I was even happy that good. It's an opportunity to dialogue with them, because by then they still had some powers over what they were clamoring for. I am a federalist. The government in 2017 block all federalists from giving for having a say. My predecessor, my mentor, my father, Justice Ayapol, was abducted, detained, illegally detained, 8 months, released with no charges.
He was still
A sitting judge at the Supreme Court. So the government has committed a lot of blunder that we are condemning all the consequences, what the awesome acts that have been done today. What is not, it's not too long. Please, there is still room to handle this. We have given the solution. We can still talk as Cameroonians, convene a genuine dialogue, release those in prison. I don't see what are they doing. What is the mantra? All those guys that are in prison. If today they release all of them, you will see that the mindset and the approach of this crisis will automatically give a little step. At least there must be some level of appeasement. Release them, don't release them. Release them. I say, okay, please, no taboo topic. I am convening a dialogue. And all those in the diaspora, I give you an amnesty.
But we talked in 2000.
No, but there was no dialogue in 2020. The manner in which it was a monologue. The main actors.
Resolutions were even arrived.
No, which resolution? Everything was perpetrated by the government. The government was the one that determined everything. I am for a solution. And when you are looking for a solution, Mr. Lasha, when you go to the hospital, I am not a medical doctor, but what I know, before they start carrying out any prescription on you, they send you to the lab, they send you this, they do you this test before they said, we want to do this. But you cannot just come to the hospital and the doctor just start injecting you without even diagnosing what is wrong with you. So that's it. Or maybe you are sick of headache and they are giving you drugs for stomach pain. Now that is how the government is doing. Taking the second step or the third step before the first. So it's not too late. It's not too late. The Cameroon is for all of us. Cameroon does not belong to President Paul Biya and his gang. The Cameroon belongs to you, and including the separatist guys. They are all Cameroonians. Please treat them as Cameroonians and so forth. I am totally not in support of any violence or any awesome act that is being perpetrated. Because even if I condemn, it won't change anything. But what I'm here is that we need a genuine dialogue, a genuine solution. A government, I say a real government, anticipates, does not precipitate. Today everything is like that. Today it has become a money-making zone. Yes, it's a money-making zone. You can't go to northwest, southwest. Either you are being a victim of a financial extortion from the military or financial extortion from the Amber Boys. An area that used to cost 5,000 as for transport, it is now being paid at 20-something thousand, at times even 30. Exorbitant amount has been disbursed by who are those paying it? The local, the common man. There's not even the Amber nor the military. He's a common man. I am here for the common man. I am not here to serve whosoever. I give a damn to whosoever wants to say whatever. That's the person's business. I am here for the common. The common man is the one paying the price. Because of what? Because of selfish, egoistic tenants. Even some Amber, there are some Amber leaders in the diaspora who are there also to make the money. They have no genuine cause. They have no genuine cause as of now. There's nothing like in their mind that is when everything they don't have a genuine cause. That you claim that you are a leader and you start taxing your people, taxing them. Why don't you contribute money from diaspora to help your people? At this juncture, the people are already suffering and you add tax on them. And you want me to sit and say no, you are for what cause? The government is there with its own. You are taxing the people. You block road. The military comes and pass. Do whatever they have to do and so forth. Please, we are Cameroonians. Even those in the diaspora, we are also pleading. The sufferings of the people are too much. Children cannot go to school. It's not easy to relocate your child in a safe zone. Not all families have members in the francophone zone, and even those who don't have. In fact, people like us, we have suffered a lot because you cannot accommodate everybody. Education is the key. Education is the key for whatever. So please, this is my time that I am calling on everyone that you can carry out your whatever, but please let us allow education to give it. I don't see how education affects a course. I'm not seeing any reason for that.
Yes. You said a while ago that what happened in Yaoundé in 2018, the 2019 dialogue, the major national dialogue, was just a monologue. You don't see it as a dialogue.
Yes.
But at least something came out of that monologue, according to you. You call it a monologue, which the Prime Minister is trying to see if they could implement those recommendations. You said that Cameroonians should know that what they call special status is in our constitution.
It was already in our
Since
constitution.
1996,
yes.
It was there.
Biafra never had the will to implement it.
Session.
For people to share blood before you start talking of specialty, that was already there.
Yeah. The fifth session of the committee to implement, to evaluate how far the major national dialogue recommendations were implemented, held in Buea, and brought the stakeholders from the northwest and the southwest regions met in Buea to evaluate how far they have gone. What is your own appreciation of the implementation of
Mr. Lasha? In that national dialogue, there were so many committees. Many committees, the role of the committees. I want to talk about the one called reconstruction. Can you are a journalist, so I am not yet to yes. Can you please? I know I can't ask you a question, but let me just say, let me throw it like that. Can you or can someone really tell me any visible action or any visibility that have been carried out by the reconstruction committee, maybe a bridge, a hospital, schools, or whatever? I mean, in the hard hit zones. I am moving. I move to all those zones. I see you in Muyuka. There's no administration. Let me not even go to the deeper interior zone. Go just to Muyuka. Muyuka is just a stone throw to Buea. the court. There's no administration exists in Muyuka. The courts have been burned. The jails have nothing. So I'm not to talk about that total reconstruction committee. Nothing visible is on the terrain. But we keep on hearing that they have been holding evaluation meetings until date. We hear of money just flying. I think people just have a way to justify embezzlement. You talk about follow up. We are in a crisis period where any decision that is being taken should be as a means of it's a necessity. It is an urgent issue. The national dialogue was in 2020. I think we are in 3 years now, and we are still talking about what we are still sitting to evaluate, follow up. It means that in 3 years' time, you are still evaluating. In 3 years' time, you are still under an evaluation of. It means that
evaluating.
I am still coming.
How far?
They should
go on with the implementation. They are not evaluating.
So they are still in the stage of evaluating how far they are going. They are not even telling us how. I want what the government should be telling us, that this is the area where, because of this is the area.
They presented the things that have been done.
Mr. Lasha, please tell Cameroonians, I'm not the one, you tell Cameroonians that this is what they presented. Maybe which where is the where there's the hospital in I know of the hospital was destroyed in Manfe district hospital. Has it been rebuilt? The hospital that was destroyed in Kumba, has it been rebuilt? Schools that are not ongoing, government schools are not, everywhere. We don't even have the zinc. No zinc there. Bridges that were destroyed, have they been rebuilt? So I think we should stop manipulating people, and that's why I said taking the second step or the third step before the first step becomes a problem. When you talk of the special status or the implementation decision that were taken as far as the national dialogue was concerned, it gave room for special status where we have what we call regional assembly presidents or regional presidents, regional councillors. God. Can Cameroonians, let me just go to the northwest and southwest, if they even know the name of their regional president or regional or whatever, can they? We still have appointed governors with full powers in the northwest and southwest. 3 years ongoing, and you are telling me that the special status was to resolve. We still have appointed GOs and SGOs with full powers that still control mayors, still control councillors, still control elected the presidents of the region. So which region? That's why I'm saying that we are all in line with what you are saying. I think I'm following you. I'm following what you just asked. That there has been this implementation of this. There has been this implementation of this. Maybe or a common Cameroonian want to see how things are being done as a result of the national dialogue or the special status that was implemented as a means to solve the Anglophone problem. Because Anglophones wanted their autonomy, the special status was autonomy. But we still have DOs, SDOs being appointed on daily basis. We still have governors who are still there with full powers. We don't even know who is the president. So I think that's why we said the special status was not really a solution, or it could even be a solution. But it needed all the parties involved to work on that, create a reconciliatory committee. There are steps. I am not saying federalism, which is not that bad. But the manner in which the special statute was implemented was not the right. I mean that doing a right thing, or doing a right thing, which at a particular moment, but a wrong approach. That's what the government did. What they were doing was like, either you accept this or not. No, what the government would have done, invite everybody, let's talk. We should learn to put in the force of argument and argument of force. You don't impose. You let people, you debate. Tell people, tell people the reasons why you feel that this thing has to be done. It is true discussion. The people address the issue, take it to the assembly, they debate on it and say, good. Because of this reason, we have gone right to this level, we are going right to level. Please, I think at this juncture, this is what we think is good for the country for now. In 1972, there were no guns that it was imposed on people to vote for a referendum. In 1961, there were no guns that were imposed on people to go in for a plebiscite. Nobody did not impose anybody. Let me go about the one in 1972. In 1961, people did their things willingly. That's why I keep on appreciating the English community of their patriotic and a love for their brothers, because they are the ones that demonstrated that patriotic act by willingly deciding that we want to go back and be with our brothers under a federal structure. But what is happening today? So that's why I am trying to look things in two directions: the Anglophone problem and the Ambazonia issue. The poor management of the government towards the Anglophone crisis has given birth to what? The Ambazonia problem. So for the government to solve this Ambazonia stuff, needs to solve the Anglophone problem, which is total autonomy through an inclusive dialogue. If it means going through a referendum, there was no problem with the referendum. Ahijo passed through a referendum in 1972 to impose a unity state. Why can't they also go back to that referendum? There was a plebiscite. These two people came together through willing from the both parties, especially from the English area. So why is it today that one party decides what has to be done?
What you are saying, some people might not see in their prison. They think that what you are saying is an attempt to separate. That they think that if that is done, that will be separating Cameroon. That will have gone past that level.
That is the reason why I said they should use the force of argument, not argument of force. They should explain to Cameroonians why there is a need for the special status at this juncture. Nothing has been discussed. When the Anglophone problem started, when the teachers and lawyers started their revendication, it metamorphosed to other revendications by the form of states. What stopped President Paul Biya to address the issue that yes, it is true, Cameroon has once experienced a federal structure, but at this he could not. He allowed it. I know of several attempts. May his soul rest in peace. His Eminence, let Christian Cardinal Toomey, made several attempts to meet President Paul Biya. Let's handle this. He blocked all attempts by Cardinal Toomey to meet with him. Justice Ayapo, as a Supreme Court judge, wrote and said this is the solution to this problem. We need a roundtable discussion, and we need to renegotiate. What happened? He was arrested. The Agbobalas and all the like, they were all arrested. And today you want me to say, why am I blaming government? You are asking me why am I blaming the government? Why should I blame the government? All what we are seeing today is because of what? The government unwillingness to first of all even listen to the Anglophone worries. And what they feel is just to use money. Buy you over, take your money here, go there. If you don't agree, no. So today we are facing a terrible impact of a poor diagnosis. We are facing a terrible impact of lack of a will. So what do you want me to say today? Even if I keep on condemning, because at the end I said we are taking separate. No, I am not a separatist. I'm not for separation. I am a federalist. That's my stand. I'm a federalist. But I am rather angry.
Some of your Francophone brothers see federation as separation. How do you convince them to buy your idea that federalism is good for the country?
Well, I don't blame the Francophones. Their system of education, they don't teach them on the aspect of federation. I remember one time I was arrested in 2018. Yeah, yes, 2017, when I was still the national organizing secretary of the party. I was detained and they were asking me funny question. I mean, commissioners of 6-star commissioner was asking me, let me really explain to them about the Anglophone problem and what do I think about federalism. They don't teach them in their school about. They don't know anything about federalism. Even in 1961, when they were even going in for the so-called Fumban conference, The Aijos and his delegation were just accepting federalism in a disguised manner to transform it to a centralized. They don't know. They don't know how to like levy power for local communities to give their own development. They believe that hyper centralization. So to them, any form of making them not having an influence or an affluence on the world or whatever for them to determine what is given, they feel that you want to separate. Very few of them, most of them, even in their school curriculums, their history that has been taught in the French speaking section, the system of the francophone system of education. they don't really know anything about federalism, and that's why till date they feel that federalism is synonymous to separation. So I don't blame them. It is lack of it's ignorance. They don't know that Germany, in fact, which country in the world is more stronger than the United States?
But
it's a federal structure.
The federalism we are talking
about. You don't play with the citizen of the US.
Yes.
Germany, even Swiss, which is the first home of President Paul Biya. I don't call it second home. The first home of President Paul Biya, because he spent all his time in Switzerland. It's even a confederation, and he enjoys Switzerland so much. That's why he goes and gets his comfort. It's a confederation. But his own country, he's refusing federalism, and he enjoys the government of Swiss with the love, the way he enjoys the environment, the growth, how Switzerland is. But Switzerland is a confederation, not even a federation. So what is wrong? Have you ever heard of any Swiss who says, I am Swiss? All of them are Swiss. But you have Swiss Spanish, we have Swiss German, Swiss French, Swiss English, but they are all Swiss. So federalism to me is a form of what? Unity in diversity. A way of making you people manage but in a unified manner. That is it. You don't impose your ideology. And today you look at how the country is being ruled. Yes, a country of clan. Because of it, it's a clan. Some people have hijacked the system. Because everybody is there for his interest, particular interest. Cameroon is extremely rich. It's extremely rich. But because of hyper-centralization, where will you have people embezzling billions of CFA? They are all in prison. Or half of the ministers are there, from prime minister, secretary general, everybody is in prison because everything is centralized in the hands of. And that's what PAP is saying, no, we are a federalist. Let power be given to the local community. Let them develop their area. Let them feel the sense of belonging. Not that you want to construct a bridge. A bridge, you need to write to Yaoundé for Yaoundé to validate, and it's still existing. And you are telling me of a special status. Let you come and I invite the chairman of that special status. Let him come here and tell Cameroonians word by word. I don't want those flashy way of explaining issues. Oh, we have given money, we have evaluated. See, in the form of evaluation. I thought the prime minister would go and tell us how good he will. I would expect the prime minister to be inaugurating areas that have been reconstructed. He should be inaugurating that. Okay, the prime minister is in Kodo Titi to inaugurate the hospital that was born. The prime minister is in Kwakwa to validate the houses, newly constructed houses. He wants to inaugurate. The minister of territorial administration is in this area to inaugurate this area this bridge that was structured, or the minister of transport, this road that was dug. He has, thanks to the reconstruction committee. But all what we see, they want to justify embezzlement. You will hear again.
Okay.
Another form of embezzlement, always on a point of evaluation. Boya, they come back to Boya. Let a report. We report with no visibility in the field.
Njang Denis Tabe. Let's now talk about the solution that that you might want to give that will help stop the guns that are smoking in the northwest and southwest region, because the cry of many Cameroonians now is that they should see the guns that are smoking in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon stop. That's a short-term solution before whatever political or military solution, the guns have to stop.
Mr. Lasha, Cameroon is not the first country that has experienced secessionist movement. Our own is not even nothing as compared to Nigeria, as compared to Ethiopia, as compared to Angola, as compared to Colombia, where we have the facts. So we should not make as if Cameroon is unique in its own approach. But all the approach that were implemented in resolving those problems for guns to drop was what? Genuine dialogue. Genuine dialogue. Dialogue is a weapon that kills any form of. You don't need to convince me. Talk with the separatists. I have been into the terrain. I have met with the so-called our brothers. I don't want to. Some people call them funny names here. I have met with our brothers who are holding guns, and I've talked with them. I have gone to Balikumbat, Balingam. I have gone to Munyenge. I've gone to Likoko. I have gone to Mekwakwa. Whatever. I've gone to almost all those areas, and I've met with our brothers and talk with them, and I understand their grievance. I understand their grievance because the government unwillingness. It came a period where you yourself, you think gun, you can tell somebody to drop his weapon by using weapon. Does violence beget violence? Where have you ever seen? Violence cannot beget violence. That's it. So when you, pardon, I'm sorry for the expression. Violence only begets violence. But just the fact you can use a gun and you point the gun at me, the way I will talk, you yourself, you drop that gun. You don't even need me. You can't shoot. At times I would speak. You are there like that. You look at the gun. You are still pointing the pistol at me. Even to pull the trigger, you yourself will just drop it and start apologizing. But in the manner in which I talk to you. So this government should, and the worst of it, you cannot be a cause of something. Somebody sees you as a cause of his problem, and the solutions that are coming, you are still the ones using yourself as a solution. Isn't that the provocation? Like, okay, let us assume that the special status was let us assume maybe that's the government solution. The people that are supposed to be there, it's a mix. It should be a mixed commission where the other parties are also involved. You cannot be a problem that I see you as a problem. I see like my enemy, and the way solutions are coming, only you there. Are you policy? The same one. You are appointing the same governors that are being hated, the same ministers to head commission, which the people see as the oppressor. You see appoint people only within your rank. Why can't you get in neutral people? Why can't you bring in other actors? When there is a crisis, you bring in other actors, political leaders, people of the civil society, those who don't agree with you. But when they invite some of them, what they do, you go there, you become like an observer. After that, they give you money. If you ask all those who took part in the national dialogue, I'm sure most of them will be regretting. They will be regretting today. I followed one time. Agbobala was on the platform here. I listened to what he said. Dr. Muzo, all those people were at the national dialogue. If you ask them today that what can they talk of the national dialogue that they were invited? Most of them were like that. They had no proposals. Let us assume that yes, they were invited. You invite somebody, even though they were not really, some of them were not really the true representation of what people expected. Okay, let us assume they came. What solutions did the government take from them? Agbala will come and tell you, what did the government take from Agbala? What solutions did they?
But people were arguing. I saw Frundi. I saw Frundi. He was moving around, shouting.
Frundi was
shouting. I said, no, this cannot happen. Shouting. This cannot happen.
What at the end? What did Frundi contribute? What did Kanatoni contribute? He contributed. He contributed because of his presence. That was the only thing for camera to show that Frundi was there, and he ended like that. And that's why all 90% of those who are not of the government that were invited, they are regretting, because if you invite that same people today and you call that sham a dialogue that they should come, and some majority will turn it down, that we cannot go there and become hand clappers. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to solve a problem, go into it. Don't be making window dressing. And today, do you think I'm happy? I saw a dead body littered in Munya. For what? Why? So, okay, I should condemn the Amber today, or separatists, even I don't know who those responsible for burning cars and so forth. Or tomorrow, I keep on condemning. They keep on condemning. And when we give solution, nobody wants to listen. They say opposition. You are not giving any means. You are not giving any solution to it. You are not talking. You are talking water in your mouth. Which water in my mouth? When you have all the yam and the knife and you say no, you don't want to handle it. What do you want to say? Copy the example. I said Cameroon is not the first country to experience secessionist tendencies. The approach of almost all the leaders has been what? Genuine dialogue. It happened in Nigeria. It was straight dialogue. After guns, they say no, let's talk. recently in Ethiopia. I said, no, let's talk. We are one. In Angola, in Angola, yes, I think in Colombia, the facts. The government said, no, let's talk. You can never kill an ideology with guns. Impossible. An ideology is something that is like a win. As it takes this one, many people of the opinion that everything is in normalcy now. Even myself, I say, this guy maybe. But we saw what happened in Munya today. All of us were shocked. Kumba, the same. Where are they coming from again? That's a lesson to the government. Where are those boys coming from again? That they had to take Munya hostage to a point where before the military to come, they already carry out their action. That is it. Please don't misquote me. I am not supporting that. I'm just trying to say that if you I keep on condemning and no solution. Well, how long is it today? You just gave a series of deaths, children, this and that, and we condemn. We have been condemning. Why would I condemn? And I said, do like this. You say you don't want to see it as a solution. You say it's only your own option that is the best. I put in military and so forth and so forth. But some of the military also have taken it as a way of making money, business.
So what are what are they also doing to help the situation? Because
what do you want? Wait, let me ask you. There are some things that
no,
I'm not asking a question. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Let me say something. There are some things that you journalists at times, I don't know. You know the reality, but wait, you know that the common man there. Maybe I've traveled. The common man there. Let us assume that they say the population should collaborate with the military. Yes, because according to the government, that's their song. The population should collaborate with the military. Good. Those boys who carry such acts are people also in that area. If all of them, the population, they are victims of circumstances. You cannot sacrifice them. Okay, let's assume that, yes, an Amber guy can carry out an act and I collaborate with the military. When the military comes, does what he has to do. The following day, his friends come. You are gone. Military will be there to protect. I know many cases of people, the local population, some of them collaborated, and they are even betrayed by their own neighbors, by the same people that, you see, the military came, was this person that called? Who, by then, the military, yes, the military will come in, and as the military is leaving, you are left at the mercy of you and your family. The boys will come for you, that you betray them. Likewise, also the population, maybe the boys are there, the military comes in and still come and you also collaborating with the boys. Why don't you also come and report us? So why must be the population paying the price? That's what I'm saying. The population don't paying the price. If I report that Amber has committed an act and the military comes, attack the Amber, catch him, capture him, and so on. You are a victim. You are the target. Will the military be there to come and protect you? Or let it be that the military also see me protecting an Amber, and the military comes. Will the Amber also come there to protect the person? No. The Amber, before the military comes, most of them even run more than the population. They even run and hide their percent of the population. At the time when the military is coming, they are the first to even run and leave the population to themselves. So my worry here is that what the population are the ones suffering. When the Amber, at times, that's why you see a lot of innocent people at times ended up dying, killing innocent people. So
villages have been burned down.
Should I sit here and keep on encouraging that the innocent souls should be going because some people somewhere have refused to diagnose what has to be done and give a lasting solution? Should I pull my answer?
So you talk about genuine dialogue. We are concluding on that.
Yes,
that issue of Anglophone.
I talk.
Where and when should that kind of dialogue take place? What is genuine dialogue?
Wait, Mr. Lasha. Yes, based on my experience in conflict management, in terms of, especially when it has to do with a civil war, where it has to do with secessionist tendency, where some people no longer recognize the present leadership as the legitimate leadership. No, or when people are clamoring for a form of state where they need their own autonomy and claiming that they want to even separate, separatists. What happened was that since there's what we call the confidence lost, there's that loss of confidence. A does not believe any longer in B. B no matter what A does, B will take in a pinch of salt. No matter what B does, A takes in a pinch of salt. What happened? For you to build back that confidence, you need to bring you need the service of a third party.
But we have had situations where third parties are options. Let's take the case of Canada, the Canadian government offering to mediate.
I'm happy. Thank God the government says no.
No, let's go to Switzerland.
Thank you.
I'm still citing examples. I'm citing examples. Don't miss.
No, I'm just trying to tell you that you see that you're in line with me that the government is not willing.
We've had another case of Switzerland where people go for dialogue. They were going to sell the oil. That's another one. Good. We have many situations where the third party is ready to mediate, but neither the AMBA nor the government is ready to listen.
No, I think look. I don't want to put AMBA and government in the same scale. AMBA has their own grievance. They have their own whatever. It's the government that has what it takes to resolve a problem. The AMBA, they are victims of bad approach towards the government. If I have a problem with, let me say, with my dad, with my father, and my father, instead of resolving, decide to humiliate me, insult me, beat me very well, chase me out, send people to this and so forth. And at a particular moment, I take a drastic measure, or let me say a radical stand. What happened? It became a period where the father needs to recognize that I caused this. The governor will take measures to see her. You don't expect that child again to start thinking that when he remembers how the father treated him and so on, and he's only reacting based on an action. He becomes so radical. So what the father does, the father now starts taking steps. Yes, I have fought her. Call my child. Yeah, my child. He come. People come and even go and tell that, yes, your dad. You will go and speak. You push, you come and talk. He is a father. Listen to him. That soft way, he will carry the person. But if you are still in that posture that I have beaten you, I have chased you out, I remain your father. For you to come and listen to me, you must still come and beg. You are the one to come and beg. Even though I am wrong, you must still come and beg. And when you know quite right that you have heard that, it becomes so difficult. So what the government is trying to say here that who stopped Cardinal Tumi All Anglophone Conference? Was it the AMBA or government? It was the government.
No, you cannot say
it was the government.
At that time, I was
Mayor Ekemaseri openly that they are not ready to welcome Boya. Will not welcome any conference in of such magnitude. Mr. Lasha.
I was a communication officer.
Yes, it was the AMBA that stopped it. No, it was
both camps. The government.
It was the government. AMBA don't make that propaganda. It was the government that had the legitimacy and the right. If they wanted that conference to be held, they would have given the go ahead. It was AMBA in favor of the national dialogue. They rejected it and they were not happy. But did they stop it? Will the government not go ahead to hold it? Has AMBA ever legitimized any conference or whatever that is being celebrated by the government of Cameroon? Has AMBA ever legitimized it? But does the government don't go ahead to carry it? Or does the government don't go ahead to implement it? Or has AMBA ever legitimized 20th May celebrations? A level by celebration. Does the government not see hold it? So don't tell me that if the government wanted something, you tell me that AMBA will do what? So what I'm trying to say now, the government stopped Cardinal Tumi from. They claim that he wanted. I visited Cardinal Tumi. I wanted you to even show. I saw that some images that I was with Cardinal Tumi. And Cardinal Tumi told me that they held a meeting.
The government.
They held a meeting in Yaoundé and said that he wants to hold a conference where they will declare their independence. That's what Yaoundé said. And Ekema was bold enough to take and to me that nonsense will not hold in Buya. I'm still coming.
Over my dead body. That's what Ekema said.
You are telling me now about the third party, Mr. Lasha. You talk about the third party.
I want us to be clear. I want us to be clear on this. Please, let us be clear.
Okay, no, I respect your platform.
Let us be clear on this. No, I want televiewers to be clear. We should not come here and then we indict only government.
No,
I'm saying that.
You follow what I'm saying. I'm not indicting. Yes. I am not looking for how the government can, if they want to solve, they solve. Because I am not happy that innocent citizens die on daily basis. And that's what my cry is. If the government goes against AMBA, what's my concern? They are the two warring factions, which to me I don't see as a factor because they are all Cameroonians. But if at all it goes to the extreme where government and AMBA and so forth, we say, okay, you people say you want to fight, you fight. But let the innocent people stay from their problem. You should not. The population should not be as a means of revendication or use them as sacrificial lambs. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I keep on saying that the government has 80% in resolving it. That you say I did not indict the government. And today, okay, good. What has happened in Munya today? That's the government. And you claim that the government.
So I just wanted
so I should
to be clear on that point that even
I should be looking at the
Ellie Smith made several trips to abroad to talk to some of those guys on Cardinal Ntume sent in on mission. But most of those guys, they were not in accord with what Cardinal Ntume was doing. I just want us to be clear on that. That the Anglophone General Conference was stopped by the government and the separatist fighters. I just want us to be clear on that.
Let me say something. Let me just say something concerning that.
Yes.
You see, the separatists that lived in Europe, are you getting me? Those guys that are the ones putting in money, they have their various groups. There were others that were for. I know of Sukadev that gave room for dialogue. I know of how do you call this other man, Bo Ebe. I know of so many. There were so many camps. I know there are many. I just started follow them.
Yeah, most of them said Cardinal Ntume was like a public agent that was sent to come and
let me also let Kamunya know that the so-called separatist guys who are in Europe, they have constant communication with government officials. Constant communication. You always hear them sending out witnesses. We all Nambere came here. Were you even aware that government officials left and went to Nigeria and were talking with separatist guys? There were some of them were testifying. There was another boy. There's another guy called Success. There's another one called Clovis, who is always on air. They confirmed that on many occasions the government has smuggled themselves and be doing backdoor negotiation with separate to a point where they wanted that they negotiated with Oliver Lekeka. They only negotiated with what I call 10 Kobo, those names. They negotiated, that's what I listing. The government was doing backdoor discussions. Why was that backdoor discussion? Why couldn't they do something? It mean that the government knew what they are doing. Because if they wanted things to be done in a manner, they have what it takes to say, okay, I'm calling these people officially, let's talk. But you realize that they were going money. You see, it's a whole mechanism. So when you come today, you're telling me that they went and met some of those separatist fighters.
And proves again.
That's why I am telling you that most of those so-called separatist fighters are in strong collaboration with the government that they don't even want. That's why when the government says we don't want, they also say they don't want. Because it's a money-making thing. It's a money-making thing. Yes. And I follow some of them. They start accusing each other. How much did they collect in Swiss? To one when they're in the meeting later on. They get money only exchange, and when they come on air, we don't want this. Who are they fooling? Both the government and the separatist guy. All of them are not serious, and they should stop the innocent population. See, so that's why I say I castigate both, but I castigate the government more because they have the yam and the knife. I'm not. Please don't misquote me. I say I'm not in support of separatist guys in whatever they are doing. But at the same time, if the government take measure that all Cameroonians see, they will know that truly they want to end the crisis. Why would you go behind and are doing negotiation? Do you know how many millions have been done only on backdoor negotiation? Backdoor negotiation. What was the reason for the backdoor negotiation? In almost all crises, they call everybody on the table. It is legitimate. At the end of the day, they went and bought some few people from Nigeria and they came. Where is Nambere? Where is Success Congo who claimed that he was one to lead people and so forth? Where is all those? They are all there. Some of them, where are they today? Because of what? A wrong approach. He said it was a wrong approach. It was a wrong approach that the government was using. So what is the government so proud of that if they could go behind and they were doing backdoor negotiation? What's so difficult that they cannot call everybody now on the dialogue table to talk? You see that there are some double standards at the level of the government that the government is playing. So that's why I'm saying that they had the will, they knew what they had to do, but they are doing the back door. In Ethiopia, it was not, they called everybody on the table. That's why I'm saying that after solving the Anglophone problem or the Ambazonia issue, there's an Anglophone problem. Please, solving the Anglophone problem, the Ambazonia issue is not mean that you solve the Anglophone problem. We are here to solve the Anglophone problem.
You are saying government is rather focusing on solving the Ambazonia issue.
Because that is the one that the government has enriched a lot. The government have been, both parties that use it as their money-making machine. It has become a source of income. Nobody wants that. That's why the thing keep on. You feel that today is there, tomorrow you hear another. I'm just giving you series of instances where I feel that there is a lot of collaboration between the AMBA leaders and the so-called government officials, where we don't even know what is happening. When my Senator Regina Mundi was kidnapped, or whatever, you saw what did she say? The problem is real. The problem is real. And the money was paid now. The money was paid. The money circulated within his hands. You saw her looking very fresh. The king of is it king? The man of Bang Balan, who was kept. When you saw that man, did you see him like someone who was really under captivity? Don't you see that there's something there fishy? But you see, please.
No, but he was at least a traditional ruler.
He was a traditional ruler. But okay, were traditional ruler not killed? In Southwest, were traditional ruler not caught and some of them were killed? Was the traditional ruler of Kumbo? Was it Kembong? Or sing one time, was not shot. Was the mayor of
Manfi.
Manfi not shot. What are you telling me here? So there is something fishy. Either both parties are using it to attain their objective and sacrificing the local population, or somebody somewhere is not willing.
So
but I feel that the government, if they are willing, if the government of Cameroon is willing, the government communicates. Rene Sadi, Chiruma, Matanganji, they all have the contact of Ayabacho. They communicate. They have the contact of Capo Daniel. They communicate. They have the contact of, and I'm not the one saying it, they themselves, at times in their live broadcast, they expose everything that we communicated with this. The man of DJL, who is presently in Kundengi, Maxime Eko. This man, he went to Nigeria. I mean, the man of the president, who is presently under
yes, the head of the Directorate for External Research.
He had contact with all those guys. So if you people have the contact, why the backdoor negotiation? Call them. Do you know that they are Cameroonian? Call them and let all Cameroonians
see that. If they refuse to come,
how can you say they refuse to come? If you can be contacted and you go out to meet them.
Okay.
I don't know, meeting in Nigeria.
Let's conclude that. So your stand is genuine dialogue.
Genuine dialogue. We need genuine dialogue. We don't want that backdoor issue where people are there for money making and using. My problem is that the common man is the one suffering, and that's what I want to put to an end.
Okay, let's take some few messages before we get into other issues. Good evening to everyone at the studio. I really have been enjoying the program Prime these weeks. I think that the special status was to solve the disagreements between Northwest and Southwest regions. If we go by the explanation given by the Archbishop of Bamenda regarding the origin of the said concept, Rene is writing from Douala. Rene just wrote us from Douala. This other one, good evening to you all. My Popular Action Party president is saying the truth. How can a governor from the Southwest or Northwest is not from that region? What development do you think can he offer to the people? You say you are David writing from Limbe. David is writing us from Limbe. Our guest in the house, greetings, sir. You have said it all. Our president failed when he was wrongly advised not to solve the Anglophone problem when it was needed to be solved. And for now, all the president need to do is to go for a dialogue, and they should give Anglophone the chances to talk out their problems. You say Mola Ngo writing from Buya. Mola is writing from Buya that Anglophone should be given the opportunity to talk their problems. Good evening to you in the studio. I so much love the analysis of panelists, Mr. Njang Denis Tabe. I believe egoism and strongman attitude of our leaders are the reason why we are still where we are with the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon. Many people have died as a result of lack of zeal or will by the forces involved to solve the problem or look for lasting solution to end the crisis. Vitalis is writing from Buya. Vitalis is writing us from Buya. This other message, good evening to you. Can I ask the national president a question? You want to ask, just ask, please. Don't ask me if you can ask him a question. You are free. I want to ask him the question. Good evening, panel. It's a pleasure for me to tell you that the Reconstruction Commission has at least constructed the disarmament center in the Northwest region of Cameroon. So that panelist, let him come to Bamenda and go to Bafut. He will see the disarmament center where that was constructed. Those are some of the projects This message is signed by Mr. Muchia Godwill, writing from the political capital of Cameroon, that's Yaoundé. He said it is Armament Center is one of those, the fallouts. Good evening to everyone in the panel. The government is not serious in handling this issue in our lovely southwest and northwest zones. Looking at what that happened to us in Munya Boya today, where cars were set ablaze. Munya is that area where military checkpoints are more than 4, and those in the diaspora, who call themselves leaders, why are you people disturbing our peace or not controlling the people that you say you are controlling on ground zero? You say you are Gerard writing from Kribi. Gerard is writing from Kribi. This other message: good evening to the house. Just wish to greet my president, Mr. Njang Denis. Let him know the youths are behind him. PAP 2025. This is your brother, Emmanuel Akoko, writing from Limbe. I am Henry from Moyoka. I love the panelists in the studio. If we can follow his steps, I believe we are going to have solutions to this problem that we have in Cameroon. Good evening. I think the military solution to this crisis has failed. President Paul Biya missed the solution to the crisis, but it's not late. Let the government organize a genuine dialogue with everybody without a prepared solution. To mentor Emmanuel, writing from Yaoundé. Greetings to you both at the studio. The program is quite interesting. The government keeps saying children should go to school in the hardest areas, precisely in places like Libialem. We have administrators from Libialem. Let them lead by example. They should go and stay there, disobey the ghost town, and send their children to school there and see what happens to them. We will follow suit. Lionel is writing from Boya. Lionel from Boya. This other message that just came in. Good evening, Mr. Kingsley. Tell your panelists that he is not really clear with his explanation. He said the government is responsible for all its action, but he calls the national dialogue a scam. Secondly, can he dialogue with someone who says Ambazonia or nothing, and you don't want to shift from your stand from day one, and all you preach is war? If the separatists love their people, they should stop fighting and the military will return to their barracks. Simple. He didn't tell me his name. You follow him, say you are not sincere in your explanation from what you are saying. Say this other message. Good evening, Mr. Lasha, and to Mr. Njang Denis. What Mr. Njang is saying is the express truth with no omission. You say you are Mwalimu, writing from Tiko. Mwalimu is writing from Tiko. Good evening to you all in the studio. How's our problems have all been set by the national president? We, the population, cry every day. What we need is a genuine dialogue on genuine ground. Akenji, writing from Bamenda. Good evening. I am Lovett, writing from Bamenda. I really enjoy the program. More courage to our guests in the house. We need Cameroonians who will speak just the truth like he is doing. Good afternoon. Prime hour is Isa Aminu. Honestly, the matter is very funny, as we are told this country is not serious. He goes ahead to say, good evening once again. Prime hour is Isa from Bamenda. The only thing that the government can do in my division, that's Bui division, is the central prison at Melufu. Nothing else. They have not reconstructed anything in that part of the country. Let the northwest and southwest be on their job. I don't know what that means. They say be on their job. Good evening, Mr. Leo. It's not Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo is on holidays. Yes. And everyone in the studio, I am blessed from Boya. This other one, good evening, Mr. Lasha. Nice program. Good evening to you all in the studio. The government should stop using Cameroonians' life to play games. Cameroonians are dying because of deception. The government should go in for proper dialogue. Military solution will never succeed in such crisis. John from Douala. John is writing from Douala. Good evening, everyone. I would like to appreciate the guest speaker for all what he has said. If our leaders were like him, then we will all live in peace and harmony. He is the type of person that Cameroon needs. Kolo from Boya. Kolo is writing from Boya. This other message, good evening. I so much enjoyed the discussion going on. We have a very bad government administration. People who don't care about the common man. The president is full of greed and his team only think about themselves. They must calm down and listen to the cry of the people. The crisis is taking longer than expected because we have a leadership that does not care about the citizens. Samuel is writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Lasha Kingsley, and to Mr. Njang Denis. It's an interesting program. Let the government stop beating beside the bush and stop this massacre. Roland is writing from Boya. Good evening to you guys in the studio, and many regards to PAP President. I am seeing him for the first time, and he is speaking just the truth. If many should reason like him, then I believe Cameroon will be better placed. We need frank and truthful people like him. Mr. Ebong is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you all in the house, sir. I strongly stand behind the guest in the studio. He is a great man with too much wisdom. I think if the government can follow his ideas, this struggle will end in no time. I am Kisito Abia, writing from Widikum. This other message, good evening. Yes. Good evening to everyone in this house. We really do enjoy the program. I am watching from Gabon. Mr. Denis have said everything, and he is right about everything he has said. I think we have to hold on with the messages now. You've listened to the messages. They have so much appreciation. Yes, we will take a short break. When we come back, we take on some other focus that we have tonight.
Canal Plus sort le grand jeu. Jusqu'au 30 septembre, réabonnez-vous à votre formule habituelle et bénéficiez de 15 jours offerts à tout Canal Plus. Vivez les derniers matchs de qualification de la CAN 2023, la reprise de la Ligue des Champions et les meilleurs championnats de foot sur les chaînes Canal Plus Sport. Découvrez la série Sensation, la bataille des chéris sur A+, et la nouvelle série inédite Innocence sur Novelas TV. Alors profitez de 100% de tous vos envies. Réabonnez-vous en boutique ou par paiement mobile et bénéficiez de 15 jours offerts à tout Canal+. C'est jusqu'au 30 septembre.
Academic year 2023-2024 with Subdeco. Follow relocated training and obtain your diploma co-signed by the French and Cameroon's government. Bachelor from the Clermont-Ferrand Business School, International Finance, International Business, International Marketing. Master of Science from the Clermont-Ferrand Business School, Control, Audit and Corporate Finance, International Trade and Digital Marketing. Higher National Diploma and Bachelor Degree, Accountancy, Banking and Finance, Logistics and Transport, Trade Marketing, Human Resource Management, Project Management, Information System Management, Master's Degree, Accounting, Audit and Control, Banking and Finance Engineering, Human Resource Management, Project Management Entrepreneurship, Logistics and International Trade, Information System Management. Location, Subdeco at Ngusso near Hotel Paradis Junction. Contact 656 90 35 16 675 56 91 89. Website subdeco.com. Subdeco, a label of excellence.
Welcome back, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. If you are just tuning in, you're watching Prime R, and of course, we have been discussing so far the situation of the two English-speaking regions of the country, and we are on this edition of the program tonight with the national president of the Popular Action Political Party, who has been trying to give his view on what he thinks the government should do in addressing the situation in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We are going to shift away from the Anglophone crisis, and this time around we are going to talk about power transition in Cameroon, the future of Cameroon, what prospects for the Popular Action Party, what would the party do come 2025 as elections will be held in Cameroon, presidential elections as well as legislative elections are in the country. We have so much that has been happening in the country, so many political parties, so many wars of division or clans fighting to position themselves for or ahead of 2025. President, let me call it that way, because that's why many people like referring to say President.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. We are talking about 2025 presidential election, and there is a wind that is sweeping across the African continent, where apparently democracy has failed, and people think that the only option that is available now is taking power, is military coup. We've seen within 3 years, between 2020 and 2023, in Central and West Africa, we've had 8 different military coups that have been staged.
Okay. Well, I want to first of all put this point very clear. I am a Democrat. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the will of the people. When we want to talk about coup, we need to let Cameroonians know under which concept are we talking of, because when we talk about coup, people only focus only on the military coup, but they don't know that the worst coup that ever exists in the country is the constitutional coup. That when you change the constitution, you hijack and use the same military to crack down on the population, and you transfer the constitution to suit your whims and caprices. That is the worst coup. I think we should not only, because today our so-called those international organizations, AU, CEMAC, ECOWAS, and all the like, which I am not condemning them in any way. If, of course, you cannot live in an island. If I vie to take power, I must belong to a nation. But they must change their approach. If they want to limit this regular military coup d'etat, they should sit and restructure those organizations where they have to come in with policies where a leader that takes over leadership with a defined constitution and swore in front of the population that he will defend everything in the constitution. If you have to have a 2-year mandate, after that 2-year mandate, you quit. There is nothing there you need to go and change the constitution. We're going to go a constitutional coup d'etat, which is worse. And at that juncture, when the population comes out, you use that same military and the police to quiet down the population, kill just because you want to stay in power. That is the worst coup d'etat. So coming back to the military coup d'etat that we have it has been rampant, as you just rightly said. Yes, there are some ones that can be condemnable. There are some ones that to me I see more as a revolution. Yes, because if I will support some certain level military coup d'etat, to a certain level, for example, I will not even call it a coup d'etat, I call it a revolution where you stand by the people. Any military that sees that the person in power wants to manipulate the constitution to the detriment of the people, and wants to create institutions where he will be more stronger than the institution, and uses the military to quell the population. Such a military that stands by the population, I clap. I don't consider that a military coup d'etat. That's not a military coup d'etat. Where I will consider that I condemn as a military coup d'etat is when there is a legitimate leader that won his election, genuinely voted by the people, genuinely with a credible, genuine electoral system, and just of a sudden, because of certain selfish, egoistic tendency, you overthrow that person. That's the one that I can feel that there is a problem, like the one that happened in Niger. To me, I can say that's a coup d'etat. The one that happened in Gabon, I applaud the population, the military, for standing on the side of the population, because what they did, they rather responded to the wish of the people. Like the one that happened in Guinea, where now I can say, okay, good, military, you are the guarantor of the nation. You are Republicans. Do everything, as you say, you have a transition. Where I would create the transition, readjust the institutions, and organize things that everything should go. Because the role of the military is not to take power and lead. No, your role is to protect. You are already been equipped to defend. You don't have projects. You are not voted under a project. So even if you are taking whatever, ensure that you create a transition at a particular moment, create everything, and then hand back power, organize elections, and the power should be given back to the civilian. So as I said, as long as the so-called ECOWAS, Africa Union, AU or whatever, I mean, pardon, UN and all the like, keep on covering, giving a dam to certain maneuvers perpetrated by our African leaders. When this man of Gabon, during election, what happened? He cut off internet. He cut off internet. He deprived them from having access to internet. He blocked all the borders. He refused to bring in independent observers, even the media and so on. Nobody ever called him to order and said, no, that's an undemocratic way of doing things. Everybody kept quiet. When they were out to that, when he manipulated his way and was declared a winner, nobody ever called him to order. When Alassane Ouattara, who took over leadership and swore that he was going to defend the constitution, he would never wait for a third term. And just of a sudden, he transformed everything, and the Ivorian went on the street. He sent military, and people died. What happened? ECOWAS was quiet. Nobody said, why can't the same also something also happened? It almost happened in Senegal. Macky Sall also. If not, the Senegalese came out in the so if the military would have taken side with the population of Senegal for Macky Sall to push himself for another third term, they will come out and say they're condemning the military. No. So that's what I'm saying, that any military that stands to defend the interests of the people against a tyrant who wants to manipulate himself to hijack the institution, I support such military. But at a particular moment, since they don't have the mandate of the people at that particular moment, because they have stolen the revolution of the people, they organize things and hand over power. So I said, military coup d'etat, they are legitimate ones, but the ones, the worst, that needs to be condemned.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the
which is the one that is killing Africa today. Constitutional coup d'etat by our greedy leaders. You talk about political transition and all that, where some of them want to remain in power and are only preparing their children. It has become a dynasty. They need certain so. His son is already there at the verge of taking power. The one in Chad, we already saw how his son maneuvered himself after the death of the father, which the constitution was clear. The president of Senate takes over traditionally. He came and imposed himself. Semak applauded. The man of Equatorial Guinea, that man is already more than 45 years in power. He is preparing the son.
No, the son is just the vice president.
That's the preparation. Today, our strong man in Cameroon is moving everywhere and presenting his son.
No. Pope has never said that.
Of course, there is a madness going around that Frankist movement, which we don't know what is going on. So, to me, please, we condemn constitutional coup d'etats, and I support any military takeover that is there to defend the interests of the people against tyrant. And that is what we call Republican military. Not a military that will dare to defend an individual or some individuals at the detriment of the population. No, that's not the one. But at the same time, I also condemn some certain military coup d'etat where they want to unseat a legitimate leader for some selfish interests. There are some ones that are there for selfish interests. So the military take over for Republican military, provided it's for the interests of the population against someone who wants to maneuver his way to hijack institutions, to suit his system.
There are provisions for the revision of a country's constitution. Your worries are valid, but the question now is, you have not given a clear example of where you only said in Africa what is so bad and has been going on for a very long time is constitutional coup, but you didn't cite any examples, because most of those countries,
I cited Macky Sall,
they follow the right.
Paul Biya in 2008, he changed the constitution that he would remain like.
No, but the parliament did that. Parliament did that.
I have cited Denis Tabe. So where do you say?
No, parliament did that.
Constitutional coup d'etat on daily basis.
Parliament did that. Bills at the level of parliament comes from the government.
Let me in Cameroon here. In this Cameroon, that
it was clear a bill came from the government bench. Parliament validated the deal.
You see, Mr. Alasha,
based on
when you swear, when you take an oath of office, you defend. What the first thing? I swear to defend the Constitution. I swear to do this. I swear to do this. Meaning that whatever you took over as an oath, whatever you met, that's what you defend. You don't go in to do anything again that will suit you again.
So tell me what provisions of Cameroon's constitution that was violated in 2008? Is it 2008?
2008.
What provision of the constitution was violated? Because at that time,
I not cite the article, but the provision that says that the term limit of the president 5 years, renewable twice, but they had to revise, and that was one of the things that I applaud my mentor, Justice Ayapor. By then, he was a lone citizen parliamentarian who voted against that law that he will never betray his people because he is there to defend the constitution also. As a lawmaker, he cannot go against what. And he said, I am not for that. If all parliamentarians would have followed him, today Biya will not become a king in Cameroon. He wants to create a dynasty. But they removed that article. The article that says presidential term limit. Biya says it should be removed. And we all know how parliaments under dictators operate. They are rubber stamp parliamentarians. If you dare whatever, we know how to operate. So we should not. I don't want to see that you have defended a constitution. You were voted under a constitution, and you swore by that constitution to. Do you think those Western world that today some people claim that they are Pan-African are castigating the West? Do you think Barack Obama wanted to do the same thing that African leaders are doing? You wouldn't have been successful. But no, he says I will respect my term. That's it, and that's why you see those countries, everything is going there smoothly. You respect the constitution that brought you in, and you took an oath that you are going to respect whatever it is there. Just of a sudden, you have done all whatever, and you say no, you must go by force. And if the population say no, most at times, most of those change of constitutional change, have they always gotten the blessing of the people?
Who is the population?
The population is the population. I don't know which I call about population. Who is the population? The population, the people.
Because this concept of population, when we talk about population, you are looking at lawmakers representing their constituents, and most often there's this impression that they are not representing them. That's why I ask you, who is the population?
Well, lawmakers, maybe some people don't know all law. Lawmakers are there to vote laws that will guarantee to respect the aspiration of the people, not individual. If I'm going in as an MP, I am there to
so why is the situation
and
different?
all laws that you put vote, lawmakers don't go there to vote laws to protect the executive. If you are a lawmaker, you are the legislature. On the contrary, you hold the executive to account. It is a shame that a lawmaker who is having an independent arm of government and we manipulated by the executive, of which they tell the executive that no, we are not doing this. I am here to serve the people, and you defended this law in front of us. So why do you want to change it? So it's a shame that even lawmakers are into that scam, and that's why at times when the military take over, they dissolve all those nonsense that assembly, senate, and the like, because the lawmakers themselves are disgraced to the executive. Why do you submit yourself under the executive? You are an independent body. You have the right to say no, and what will happen? You are voted under a party, but at that moment you are a parliamentarian for the nation. So what will encourage a parliamentarian who we are having an independent arm, where government bills will come and you are dancing to the tune of the government to the executive?
President Njang Denis, let me come. You are blaming the parliamentarians, right?
Well, I'm not blaming them, but I'm castigating them.
Yes, let me land. Do you really think they are supposed to be blamed? I know where I'm driving to. Bills, from my findings, we've never had any private member bills in Cameroon tabled at the level of the National Assembly. All bills come from the government bench. And when those bills are examined at the level of the National Assembly or Senate or whatever, they have to be sent back to the presidency for President Paul Biya to promulgate. This is the constitution. President Paul Biya to promulgate those laws or bills into law. How do you then blame the parliamentarians who cannot even submit a private member bill?
Mr. Lasha, where in the constitution that says private member bills don't go through?
But no, we have never had one. So where is the problem coming from?
That is where
you tell me it is rejected.
You now agree with me that if we have problem in this country, mean that somebody somewhere is not playing his role. That's why you agree with what. So is it the executive that will come and tell the legislative house to reject private, as the executive ever imposed
we have seen cases where the SDF members of parliament have walked out of parliament. We have seen that with PCRN.
Is it the executive that comes in to say they don't want private member bills? The same MPs are the ones from the so-called party that are serving the party to reject their own private member bill from their colleagues. It's not the executive. So you don't. So that's why I am saying that the type of parliament that the parliament that we have are not parliaments that are what lawmakers, because you have your laws. The constitution is there. Present your parliament, and if it is rejected by your so-called colleague, what happened? You give power for the executive now, and you have your role to play. You have your independence, your independent function that you carry out, and you don't do it. You don't do it. Your fellow colleagues, you fight against your fellow colleagues to the advantage of the executive arm, which is the executive. And what do you expect? That is why at times the military needs to come in. So you agree with me that at times I legitimize some of the military coup d'etat. Provided, please don't call me, I am a Democrat. I don't say military coup d'etats are good. I say at times, if the military is coming in to stand on the side of the people, to stand on the side of the population against bad laws that an individual wants to perpetrate, because at the same time, those some people use by the military to attack the population. Or we don't know the military. The military is a Republican military that stands its ground to protect and guarantee the security of the territory and the people, and not an individual. That is it. Thank God that today the military, they have started coming out from their shell, and that's what is needed from them. Even tomorrow I take power and I go against what I swore to come in, they have every right, because that is not what I defended while taking power. If I say 210 and the constitution is there, you never want. Good. I am not saying that they cannot revise that term. They cannot revise. They cannot. People cannot decide to.
But our own was done at the level of the national. But there's another problem. What do you do with the obese majority of the ruling CPDM party? Even if the private member bills are sent to parliament, what do you do with this, with the obese majority that what they do is the follow party discipline, instruction coming from their party?
Mr. Lasha,
what do you do with the obese?
Mr. Lasha, you have to understand that the concept under which CPDM was put in place is not a concept where you can even allow. There are some CPDM parliamentarians that are bold. They are bold enough. So I don't want you to think that obese majority is a matter of you, the individual. There was one time that I enjoyed the action of the late from Mukete. He was hard. Justice Ayapo took that stand. Many CPDM.
But it suffered later.
Yeah, but it suffered later. That's why I am saying that that's why you don't blame them, because most of them also, how they find themselves in the parliament. Some of them were handpicked and bought themselves over. So they knew that we don't have any legitimacy from the people. So we have nothing to be answered, because a parliamentarian that is legitimately voted by the people, with the will of the people, with the support from the people, even though on a political party, you will see the way he will regard in parliament. Even if all are turning against him, he will take his standard. I will not, because he knows. So, and parliamentarians are there for the nation. They are not there to serve the political party. But within the context of, when you say your party, yes, follow party discipline. But party discipline is not at the detriment of the.
We are talking 20.
And that's why we are saying that the population, the people that represent you, should be your priority. And if you feel that it is party line that you must do, if the party line is in line to guarantee the interest of the people, no problem. But if the party line to guarantee the interest of an individual, I bet you that's where there's a problem. And you don't blame the military if they come in to put in things to order. Because today, the so-called individuals that take over power, they have become demigods, and they say they use the same military to create down the population. So I applaud what is happening in Africa. At least let the organizations need to take their stand and really.
President Njang Denis, we are talking 2025 elections in Cameroon, and there's something that may want to shock Cameroonians. You think that?
Let's talk about maybe PAP is coming.
You think
that preparation.
Yes, you think that.
You are not asking me questions on PAP.
You think that francophones have ruled Cameroon enough?
Yes,
and it is time now for an anglophone.
Yes.
to climb the ladder and sit
Yes,
on
yes,
them.
yes. I think that has been.
Where are those Anglophones?
Yes, that has been one of our stand, our advocacy. PAP, we have written a lot of outings on that. It is time for an Anglophone to lead the country. Why do I say so? You see, we are at a point where 25 years Aijo ruled. 25 years is from the north, French-speaking zone. Bia is almost getting to 42 years, 43, whether I want to, and preparing whether anywhere they say it's somewhere.
No, don't go into that.
Okay, no, good. Okay, now, why do I say Anglophone from, when you talk about Anglophone, I'm not talking about an Anglophone who maybe through educational assimilation.
No, we are talking about those
from the west of the Mongo.
Yes,
it is time for an Anglophone west of the Mongo to lead Cameroon. One, an Anglophone at this juncture, with the way I have observed the socio-political happenings in the country, guarantees that factor of unity. Yes, if you want that this country one and indivisible, it's only that Anglophone leader that has that capacity. Because I have had a lot of partnership with most of our French-speaking partners in parties, political party, and I know that I will not call name for any reason. I don't want to be xenophobic or tribalistic here, but there are some particular area in the country that don't want to hear. I mean, from the French zone, they don't want to hear if whosoever is leading whatever is from that area. I'm being into many coalitions where when we hear that it is this one from this area, maybe not the other one from this. I say no. I don't want to hear Nodi. When Nodi hear that it's this other maybe from the west or whatever, we don't want to hear. We don't. But at time when they hear, no, an Anglophone. And let me tell you, in 2018, maybe many people don't know. In 2018, if not of the illegal detention of Justice Aya, we were working on a platform of Republican Pact created by late Adamu Damjoya, Pact Republican. All of us, we were there. I was, by then, my former Secretary General, Akusan Raymond, I was organized secretary. We were working on that. And I bet you that, despite all opinions that were sampled from all sister organizations, from everybody, I will not call the leaders that were involved in that Republican Party, but most political leaders were there. All of them gave their blessing for Justice Ayapo to become the president. We even visited some political prisoners in prison in the region. All of them from certain regions. All of them were unanimous that it's time for an Anglophone and Justice Ayapo. And we did intensive one-on-one contact. Everybody was in that platform, one Anglophone president. Unfortunately, the Anglophone crisis came and squandered us everything. And even up to date, we are still into that. And many people said, it's not an issue of whether who. I am not here to say it must be an opposition. I said an Anglophone of the English-speaking region, legitimately voted by the people, loved by the people, because the Anglophone guarantees that uniting factor where he is able to be listened to from the north, south, east, west, and he stands as that uniting factor as of now. I bet you that if you call the name of one of these center, you have a problem with another. You call the name of this
President, charity should begin at home. When I say charity should begin at home, I'm talking about the Anglophone crisis. We have Anglophones occupying top positions in this country. Why have they not been able to unite the Anglophones and solve the problem that we have?
No, you have to
in
understand.
The two English-speaking regions. We'll tell the regime in Yaoundé that this thing that is happening in our region, or tell the regime the truth about what is happening. If they cannot first of all sort out their issues at home, how do you expect them to unite other tribes or other?
No, the type of Anglophones that the concept of the Anglophones that are presently in the regime. That doesn't mean that I have had discussion with some of them. Most of them, they have a very liberal mindset. That they are even more radical than those of the opposition.
Why are they not speaking?
But now you look at that's why I'm coming. You see, but the manner in which the system functions, Mr. Bia they have this what called this tendency of divide and rule policy, where he has what it takes to manipulate a brother to fight another brother. And it becomes a problem where I remember one time when Justice Ayapo took his grounds, said, no, I will not. It became like a war between Agbotabi took it for himself. Agbotabi fought let Abu Tabi may so rest in peace for justice. I am even more than President his own Anglophone border. So what I'm trying to say is that what within the context of the way Mr. Biya rules, it's difficult for someone of the system who's an Anglophone to really come out. But I bet you that most of them are of the opinion that they can. But you know, if it was in the days where ministers were appointed through the parliament and voted with the legitimacy of the people, you could see someone being bold enough. And don't see the Anglophones in the regime of President Biya to feel that the way you see them is the way you think they are. No, I have been in contact with many of them. Don't be surprised. Pharaoh grew in the hands of Moses grew in the house of Pharaoh, and he was loyal to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh never knew that it is Moses who will be the one that will come and free people from that I am and challenge me. So don't look at the Anglophone in the regime. I've called people that don't look everyone and you see them. They know they don't have that mind and what we think. So liberation, nobody knows where liberation will come from. It could come from within and it could come from without. So most people who have always taken leadership and become the opposition, most of them was once serve the system and all the like. It could come from the opposition, but I said it's time for an Anglophone. It could come from the opposition. Of course, in 1990, we saw how Fundi was given. In fact, he won the elections. Don't tell me that officially, because we have heard from credible sources, people that matters. Akere Muna is not an entire person. He has had a lot of international portfolios in both Africa and all the like. So when he gives an information, we shouldn't take it that he said it. Fundi won the election, but it was taken. And majority of the people that voted for the Francophones mean that there is that will that Francophones are vying for an Anglophone to be a leader, but they are still looking for who. And that's why whenever an Anglophone takes a measure to do whatever, he has full support from our Francophone speaking. Most of the times, our own English speaking people are at times even our own enemies. That's it. So I am still of the opinion that the Anglophone, for this country to be united with force, I am advocating for that.
Okay,
that's the advocate.
We are gradually coming to the end of the program. We cannot go without talking about the Popular Action Party, what you are planning to do. Yes. Your new bureau in Yaoundé has just been inaugurated. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to use this opportunity to really congratulate all the party members for that uniting force we have been for making that bureau. It's not like PAP has a bureau. We have a bureau in the Littoral here. We have our secretariat is still it's at my Bumaka. There is at Bumaka where we have our national secretariat. But we decided to create another one in Yaoundé because you cannot vie to occupy institutions of the country where you don't occupy the capital. So our bureau in Yaoundé is strategic. Those are where the seat of all the institutions are in Yaoundé. So being in Yaoundé is strategic, but our national secretariat, that's why we call it the Center Regional Bureau. So I really want to appreciate what is there because it is well sophisticated. It serves as not only a backup accommodation for PAP members. So I want to really thank our members for that commitment until for that project to be realized, and I also want to thank my media prime for an inclusive show of the program. Almost all their platforms, the media news platforms, it was shown. So it is a great joy. And in 2025. Yes, we have been victims of the Anglophone crisis. In 2018, we couldn't go in for election. 2020, we couldn't go in for election. But 2025, I am calling on all Cameroonians that PAP is going in for election. In 2025, if everything goes on well, local elections. So that's why there is a bureau. We have our bureaus. We have access. The bureau is located at Desan, Santre, and the Cape, Etugebe. So when you are there, you can meet us, and at any moment, for those who are willing to use the platform to become MPs, use our platform to become councillors and all the like, we are open. And I believe that by 2025, we have done a lot in terms of mobilization. We have done a lot in terms of voters registration, because of recent, I led a delegation in Yaoundé for voters registration. My team have been very regular in the terrain in the northwest and the southwest.
Of course.
So I want to say that
Fabrice Lena,
Tamba Collins, who has been very, very, myself, and with so many other, and a team, a host of PAP leaders,
which means that you are for generational change.
No, I am from genuine change. There's what is called generational.
Generational.
A change.
Because the people you are calling their names, they are very young and vibrant people. Young and vibrant.
Yes, not only young and vibrant, but they have a change, a mentality, a change. It's a change of a system. That's why I know it is true. I will accept that, yes, I'm for generational change because the people that they consider as leaders of tomorrow.
If the people coming from the ruling CPDM, you will still be comfortable.
No, but the CPDM is just an ideology. There are many
people.
They
have been in power for 40 years.
The CPDM has not even in power. CPDM has never been a political party that was created. It was a party that was already in power and Biya only changed the name. So when I want to call aligned political parties in Cameroon, CPDM is not a political party. President Paul Biya was never voted on a political platform. He never created any platform as a party. He came to power with a party in place and just changed the name, and all the structures of the party continues till in 1990 when multipartying was brought back. So left to me, I don't think CPDM should even be a legitimate party with legally backing, because when multipartying was created, it was CNU that was on the one party that continued as CPDM. So to me, CPDM, when I want to talk about party, when people say CPDM is structured everywhere and so forth, it's a state. By virtue of your status as a state employer, you are already automatically.
Okay, President, let me take this. Somebody is asking how can he get a membership card of the Popular Action Party?
Yes, you can get my number. After that, you can request.
Okay,
my
I will send.
They can contact me, and or you contact. You have the contact with almost all my communicators.
Yes, right. Me. I will send the number to you.
You can any of them.
Okay. Good evening to you, the studio and PAP President. I just wish to thank the movement of PAP for always enlightening about the truth and action that has to take place in our fatherland, Cameroon. Please don't give up. I am a strong admirer of the aspiration of your political party. Constitutional coup is the most dangerous thing that can ever happen in a country. President Biya did that in 2008. We have the same thing in Togo. Father to son, Bongo dynasty, and Cameroon is coming up with a Frankist movement to the extent that they are admiring Frank Biya, hoping that he will become the next president. What do you have to say to this issue of Frankist movement?
Yes, I think it is the Frankist movement. Well, I am not saying that Frank Biya, as a citizen of the country, cannot vie for position, provided he align himself in a political party, present a project to the country, to Cameroonians. And Cameroonians buy the project, they vote him legitimately with a credible electoral code, no problem. But using this type of backdoor stuff, because your father is the president, Frank Biya has never...
Is Frank Biya not a Cameroonian?
That's why I said he is a Cameroonian, he has the right, but let him present a project. That's why I am of the opinion that all those who are propagating the Frankist movement, to me, they are a vexation to Cameroonians, because somebody who has no project, he has nothing that you can see as an achievement that you say he has done this. If you ask them that, why are you behind Frank Biya? Nothing. The Frankist movement, what are the agenda? What is the objective? To me, everybody propagating Frankist movement should be arrested. Should be arrested.
Serious. That's
yes,
serious.
Should be arrested, because that is really
but that is violating the 1990 liberty law.
No, liberty, because you cannot, Mr. Lasha. I am in the terrain. I have a project. Everybody will know political parties are in the project. We have organizations that have a project. But you move around, you to a point where some of them, you see them in platforms, they are like they could attack and no, that's not how we rule. And these are some of the things that provoke military to even come in, because you see somebody seated, he has no project for you. Frank Biya, you should show me even a small bridge or a pipe bomb water that Frank Biya has even contributed to a small village, or assisted widows, or assisted the needy. So is that how you just spam up because you're the son of the president and people are propagating? That's provocation to Cameroonians.
But he has never said He is standing. Why are people using his name?
And that's
you
why
blame somebody.
That is why I said such people need to be arrested. It's provocation. You don't provoke Cameroonians in that manner. It's like insulting Cameroonians, the intelligence of Cameroonians. After what the father is doing, they are not even digested the pains and the torture that the father has given to the Cameroonians. The suffering that you are still propagating the son. That's why I say it's provocation. Such people need to be arrested to stop provoking Cameroonians.
Okay, let's take this other message. We have barely 2 minutes to go. Good evening to everyone listening to this message from the president. The truth is that the government and the separatists have tried their best by taking the lives of the local people as a battlefield. I think the solution in the hands of the population to rise up against this killing, since both government and the Ambazonia leaders have failed. They are both confused at what to do exactly. Mr. Amadou Amisa from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. I am Bobia. This message is not clear. Please try to write simple English now so that we can read. When you write like this, you expect that I should read how. This other message coming in. Good evening to you all in the studio. Constitutional coup is the most dangerous thing, like I said earlier, and of course we witnessed that in Cameroon in 2008, and it is not good for the continent. Good evening to everyone listening to this message. The truth is that the government does not want to solve this problem. Please sign your message. Good evening once more. I am so surprised by what the guest speaker said concerning the CPDM not being a legitimate political party. Mr. Njang Denis, he's saying that he's surprised at what you say is not a legitimate political party.
It's not a legitimate political party. It was a party. It's a conception of many political parties that decided to dissolve their political parties under a CNU. Under the form of what Cameroon was still on a unitary system, what a one-party system. All those who dissolved their parties, who even dissolved their parties and created a CNU, the CNU existed before the reintroduction of a new law that talked about multipartism. And when multipartism came, people need to go back to register for their party to be authorized. So CPDM was already that unique party that called a one-party state. That was that CNU with structures there. So President Puya was never voted on a political platform. He is not even the author of CPDM because it was just a change of name. If I take PAP tomorrow today and I change the name of PAP and I start using it,
but PAP is registered.
It's registered. No, I'm not. But I'm saying that CNU was never like a register. It was just a combination of political parties that came and gave birth to that. Let's just be under one political platform. So, and that was then when the law by the abolished was multi-partism. Now, when you reintroduce something, the CPDM was to go back now and re-register. I said, okay, I am now under a new law. You are in the old law, and a new thing has come in. And you should not say before focusing on that, you are still under. So that's why I'm saying that. And that is why CPDM people, if you look at it, most of them don't even know the ideology of the party. All what they know is Paul Biya. You see a mayor who will be, a mayor has no project for his people. Always say the head of state, because they don't even have the ideology of the party. 90% of CPDM people cannot really defend the objective of CPDM. All what they know, our head of state is a good man. Our head of state has done this. Even the mayor will not even tell people, thanks to President Paul Biya, a parliamentarian, our head of state, that is the only agenda of the CPDM, the head of state. Well, maybe the head of state will not be there. Let's see how the party will continue.
President Njang Denis Tabe, thank you so much for coming. We acknowledge the sacrifice, leaving Yaoundé to travel and come to Douala to do this program. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, it's my pleasure.
I honored my invitation.
My pleasure.
Short notice.
I'm so happy to be here. I thank my media prime once more for giving the platform, and all what we are doing here is for the growth of our nation, for nation building. We are all Cameroonians, irrespective of our diversity. We can disagree to agree. So my greetings to all Cameroonians of good faith. that really believe in PAP, believe in institutional change, believe in the rule of law, believe that we Cameroon need strong institutions, but not strong men. Thank you.
That's it, televiewers on my Media Prime Television, for tonight's edition of Prime Hour, which was produced for us by Ewane Eli Nolinga. I have been Lasha Kingsley for presentation. Until tomorrow, bye-bye from this end.